everybody. First item on our agenda are promotional appointments to the police department. I'll turn these over to Town Administrator Bill Norris.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. It's a pleasure to introduce to the board and to the community two promotional appointments within the police department. As everyone knows, we've had a couple of retirements. Most recently, Lieutenant Edward Hayes left after many years of service. And before that was Chief Henry Purnell, who left after a number of years of distinguished service to the community. As part of the appointment process, the town is required to go through civil service. These are civil service appointments. And we received a list from civil service that gave us 5 names. And I had the pleasure of, with Chief Nolan and Allison Olson, the personnel director who was in the room, to sit down and meet with 10 very distinguished and excellent candidates. We had 5 candidates for both the sergeant's position and an additional 5 individuals for the lieutenant's position. And it was a pleasure to meet with each of these individuals and see how impressive the department was. And through that interview process, we identified those individuals that we felt were most qualified for appointment. It's not to say that the other 8 individuals were not qualified. They all had their unique attributes. This evening, we have Michael Murphy, who is a sergeant. Michael, if you don't mind, I'd just like to give the board a little bit of a background so they know who you are. Mr. Murphy came to the department on August 1st of 1994 when he was appointed as a patrolman in the department. In March of 1998, he was assigned to the position of detective, and since that time has been working in that position. Prior to his appointment and during the period of time of his appointment, he had an opportunity to further his education. He has his bachelor's degree in law enforcement from Western New England College, and in June of 2000, he received his Master's of Science degree in Criminal Justice Administration, also from Western New England College. It's my pleasure to announce his appointment as sergeant, and would ask if the chief has anything to say, or we could proceed with the swearing in.
Thank you, Mr. Valakomis, and thank you to the board for this opportunity. It's with great pleasure that I have the opportunity to present Mike Murphy this evening for his swearing in. I can understand my predecessor, my friend and boss, former boss, Hank Brunel, what he went through and what he experienced as the chief of police, as he's seen individuals receive their promotion. These things are not only an asset to the community, but they're an asset to that position of chief of police. Without that command staff in back of them, chief of police would no longer be able to exist in this modern day of law enforcement. So I welcome them aboard, and I'm looking forward to working with Mike, and we'll talk about Kevin in a moment. Step over to the front.
Mr. Murphy, I will ask you to repeat after me.
Okay.
Your oath of office. I, Michael P. Murphy,
I, Michael P. Murphy,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will fulfill my duties and responsibilities
that I will fulfill my duties and responsibilities
as sergeant
as sergeant
for the Town of North Reading Police Department
for the Town of North Reading Police Department
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my ability,
That I will abide by
that I will abide by
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
the Charter and the bylaws of the Town of North Reading,
the Charter and the bylaws of the Town of North Reading,
and the rules and regulations of the North Reading Police Department,
and the rules and regulations of the North Reading Police Department,
in the faithful and impartial
and the faithful and impartial
discharge and performance
discharge and performance
of my duties and obligations
of my duties and obligations
as police sergeant
as police sergeant
for the Town of North Reading
for the Town of North Reading
for the term to which I have been appointed.
the term in which I have been appointed.
Congratulations,
Thank you
Sergeant.
very much.
Congratulations, Sergeant Murphy.
Thank you.
My pleasure to next introduce to the board Kevin F. Brennan. Kevin, if you don't mind, I'd like to just go through a little bit of background in terms of your service to the town of North Reading. Mr. Brennan was appointed to the department in February of 1993 as a patrol officer, and he was promoted to the rank of sergeant. He's been at the rank of sergeant approximately 8 years. He was appointed sergeant in November 16th, 1999. And in his tenure as sergeant, he's also served as the town's domestic violence supervisor and been the bike patrol supervisor. As I mentioned with Sergeant Murphy, we had a number of excellent candidates for the position. Sergeant Brennan was identified as being the top-ranked candidate. It's my pleasure to introduce him to you this evening. I would be remiss as I went through. He does have his degree in sociology from Framingham State College, and he also has attained his master's degree in criminal justice from Anna Maria College. So he certainly has distinguished himself in terms of his work and his education, and I recommend to the board this evening for his promotion to the rank of lieutenant. Chief?
Thank you, Mr. Valley-Fortis. As I had mentioned earlier, the importance of having a command staff behind you, but just to continue with that theme, it's a great importance for the families also. It's a momentous day in the lives of Kevin's family and Mike's family. You're going to all experience the trials and tribulations of this added responsibilities that are falling upon their shoulders. But I think as evidenced by looking at these gentlemen, they are broad-shouldered, and they will be able to bear the responsibility of this additional area of command. And welcome Kevin aboard as well as Mike. Kevin, you want us to vote?
Officer Brennan, I will also ask you to please repeat after me your oath of office. I, Kevin F. Brennan,
I, Kevin F. Brennan,
do solemnly swear and affirm
do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will fulfill my duties
that I will fulfill my duties
and responsibilities
and responsibilities
as lieutenant
as lieutenant
of the Town of North Reading Police Department
of the Town of North Reading Police Department
to the best of my abilities,
to the best of my abilities,
that I will abide by
that I will abide by
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts,
the Charter and the bylaws of the Town of North Reading,
the Charter and the bylaws of the Town of North Reading,
and the rules and regulations of the North Reading Police Department,
and the rules and regulations of the North Reading Police Department,
in the faithful and impartial
and the faithful and impartial
discharge and performance
discharge and performance
of my duties and obligations
of my duties and obligations
as police lieutenant
as police lieutenant
for the Town of North Reading
for the Town of North Reading
for the term of my appointment.
for the term of my appointment.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Brennan.
Great job.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Turn it back to you. Thank you so much.
Why don't we just take a minute to shake hands, shake hands.
Have a
Secretary, and welcome her, and thank you for being here.
You have a long and prosperous tenure.
Yes, yeah.
That means we'll get out early tonight. We
You know
got a new
all board
secretary.
members. My name.
Yes, I do meet Mr. Harris.
Hi, Mr. Harris.
Hi, Mr. Harris. That's
First
right.
name is Mike.
Hi, Mike.
Okay, conservation restriction, Junction Road extension. Mr. Valentine's.
This was a matter that previously came before you, and it was referred back to legal counsel to be reviewed. As you recall, this is something that's being recommended by the Conservation Commission. The total restriction affects 11.1 acres of land. The Conservation Commission has determined that the land does present some significant benefit. It is along the riverfront area, along Martins Brook, and council has reviewed the conservation restriction and approved it to legal form. Yes, 4.11, yes.
Yeah.
And I would ask if the board would entertain a motion to approve the conservation restriction and then sign off on the document. And then Mrs. Stats is here to be able to notarize that action.
Okay. Mr. B.
Yes, Mr. Valiakonis, if you could just, I'm sorry, but could just refresh me a little bit on the background on why we're doing this? I really don't recall.
Okay.
This is town land or?
No, this is land that's owned by, it's under private ownership. Is it Nev or Neve Holdings? Mr. Neve, as part of a residential development, there's a portion of land that's adjacent to the riverfront. It would allow for views of the river. It's a wildlife habitat. And the Conservation Commission, in their workings with the developer, has determined that the appropriate use for the land is to be kept open and in its natural state. And this would ensure that the land would in fact remain open and be in its natural state. However, it would not be land that we actually would own. It would be land that would still be maintained in private ownership.
Okay, so the owner slash developer is in favor of this?
Yes.
Okay, that's probably, well, okay, thank you. I wanted to be sure that that was the case.
Just as, I would assume that they get some sort of an abatement because of the,
That's correct.
the vegetation, so that while they retain ownership,
There's a favorable
there's a
tax
favorable tax benefit.
Yes.
Getting that, again, it's a trade-off in relation to putting a restriction on it, in relation to maintaining the environment and habitat. In return, the owner gets a favorable. It's on the 4 acres.
That's a win-win, you can't build on it, we don't have any additional building.
Right, so they gotta get, so
More
the town will
space
realize
for
some
all
sort of,
You're not even supposed to be involved in any cutting or brush removal, tree removal. It's pretty restrictive in terms of what you can do on the property.
who can, they can't, or we?
They can.
Well, the town can.
The town can, but the owner of the property can engage in a number of things. And those are all highlighted on the restriction on the bullet number 3.
Any other questions? Michael?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the conservation restriction on parcel of land located in the town of North Reading, constituting approximately 4.11 acres, located on Leland Road and Junction Road, to the town of North Reading pursuant to MGL Chapter 184, Section 32.
Motion made by Mr. Harris, seconded by Mr. O'Leary. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Mr. Harris, we've got until October 1st. Regular session.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the October 1st, 2007 regular meeting minutes as written.